Chant the word, speak the word, dance the word, say the word, praise the word, feel the word, love the word, live the word, vibrate the word, shake the word, hum the word, breathe the word, whisper the word, sign the word, love the word, sing it now, sing the word, chant the word, speak the word, dance the word, say the word, praise the word, feel the word, love the word, live the guided, I am protected, I am 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 guided, I am protected. When the light of hope it fades, when all faith is blown away, when all sense of trust goes down, when a smile turns into frown, when it feels there's no relief, nothing in which to believe, desperate in woe and grief, angels come reminding me, I am guided, I am protected, 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 I am guided, I am protected. Angels gather close to me, show me what I cannot see. Angels take me by the hand, lift me when I cannot stand. Angels lead me through the dark, soothe and tend a broken heart, laughing at the circumstance, crying while we sing and dance. I am guided, I am protected, 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 I am guided, I am protected. Okay, I'm going to play Taste Your Dreams now. Okie dokie, let's have a look. Okay, it's a little white reggae. Pretend I'm a famous pop star and I have my own awesome band. And you can fill it all in your head. Imagine like a wish for a simple miracle reggae band. If you wish, you can have one right away. All you need is some faith, is the will. Ask for it, and it will come to you today. Hey, hey, I want you to be oh so happy. I want you to be your higher self. Yeah, I want you to live and die laughing. Taste your dreams today. Taste your dreams this way. Yeah. Na da 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 da, na da 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 da. La da 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 da, da 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 da. And if you wish to be in a state of grace, ask for it, and it will meet you face to face. And if you wish, if you dare to dream, you will find that it's easier than it seems. Hey, hey, I want you to be oh so happy. I want you to be your higher self. Yeah, I want you to live and die laughing. Taste your dreams today. Taste your dreams this way. Yeah. Oh. Da 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 la da 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 la da 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 da. Oh. La da 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 Yeah, I want you to be oh so happy. Yeah, I want you to be your higher self. Yeah, yeah, I want you to live and die laughing. Taste your dreams today. Taste your dreams this way. Taste your dreams this way. Taste your dreams today. Alright, let's go over here. Alright, let's go over here. Okie dokie. Good evening. Thank you, Lasieli. I'm glad you appreciate it. Can you imagine many years ago I used to earn my living as a songwriter? I had record deals, I had publishing deals, I had a manager, I had pop groups, rock groups, I used to travel and tour, and I used to be the frontline singer guy in some of the bands. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience. I loved being an aspiring pop star. All right. I do miss the glory days. All right, so here we are. Anyway, let me say hello in person, show you that this is a real person. Good evening. This is Lumination. How are you all? So, thank you for visiting. Hello, Ivona. Hello, Lasieli, and whoever else may be here. I can't see right now because the chat's very quiet. Excuse my sniffing. I've already taken my allergy meds for the day, and I can only do so much. I'm just sneezing, my nose is burning, my nose is dribbling. I don't know what to do. I can't take Flonase anymore, and because it causes horrific side effects, and so I'm just stuck with it. That's just how it is. I think the thing to do is just, have tissues handy and drink plenty of water. That's all I can suggest. Cheers. I hope you're all having as good a time as possible. Some of you might have seen for a few little clips I put out yesterday. I was in a jovial frame of mind for a while because Love Triber had this exciting idea of getting out and about for an adventure and breaking the spell of all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And it worked. It was just wonderful to be, 8,000 feet up altitude above sea level. That's pretty steep. And right next door, at 13,500 feet roughly, is one of the highest points in the United States. So as you climb up through the mountains and everything, it gets colder, and it went down to freezing. And there was tons of snow everywhere. It was wonderful. I used to have a lot of snow when I was a kid, and it got me all sentimental. It was wonderful to get out. You would hardly know that you're somewhere near Las Vegas, okay? Quercetin and nettle. I don't know what those are. I will make a note. Thank you, Ivona. I'm going to get a separate pad. See, I have lots of different notebooks for different things. I'm going to put that on here. Give me a second, folks, while I write this down. It's important. I would love to. Quercetin, Quercetin, and nettle. Okie dokie. Why not? Let's see what happens. Okay, so thank you, Ivona. I haven't been terribly... Okay, I will do that. Thank you, Ivona. Thank you very, very much. Very kind. I will do that. It's a strange time
when it comes to the astrology. I'm just going to go to the chart briefly so you can kind of see what I'm talking about over here. Now, this looks a little weird compared to my astrodoodles because I've added these extra little marks here. I had to invent a separate mark for these little hot spots that are really, well, they're with us right now. Again, it's just sacred geometry. And it is what it is. It does what it does. There's nothing good or bad about this, except in how human beings respond to it. The way I look at it, the Earth is at the center of our world, our universe, and we feel that everything revolves around the Earth. It's not quite true. We actually revolve around the sun. But from where we are, we experience our electromagnetic influences from here on planet Earth. And for the sun and the moon, there's no retrograde because they're right here with us all the time. But as soon as you go to Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, they all appear to rotate around the Earth, except when you go through those periods of retrograde, because of the way that the Earth, like for example, if the Earth was at the center of our solar system, we would not see retrograde planet patterns, okay? And we don't really have any much lined up for about another month or so. Mercury's going to go retrograde late in April, but that's about it. So we're still rolling ahead with full steam, all the planets moving in what appears to be forward motion. Some of you might have noticed the other night that Venus was very, very close to Jupiter up in the night sky in heavens. So that's this mark right here. They're kind of at the middle to later points, like 15, 16, 17 degrees or so around here. But they're so close. You could see it in the sky. They were really like this close together. Then, so these are very quirky spots astrologically when things are sitting exactly on the cusp. Okay? This is a cusp. It's the bridge point between one sign and another sign, between one house and another house, between one astrological definition and another astrological definition. And these definitions have been established for thousands of years simply through empirical evidence, through observation about human behavior and experience relative to the movement of the planets. And they discovered that it's very conveniently set up into roughly 12 experiences is what I would call them. They're called the signs and they're called the houses. The houses represent the experience. Like, for example, the fifth house could be related to romance, creative self-expression, risky private enterprise, having lots of fun, having lots of creative self-expression. This Leo energy here, when Pluto was over here, this was the sign of the big classic rock pop stars and rock stars. You know, the, I don't know, going way back, people like, Janis Joplin, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, Bob Dylan, all these iconic figures. They were from the Pluto and Leo generation. Well, they're being faced off by Pluto and Aquarius now for the next 20 years. It's going to be an interesting experience to watch. Anyway, Pluto is right here, sitting on the cusp energy. It moves incredibly slowly, okay? It was hovering around 29.5 degrees and then crosses the 0 point into Aquarius, where it is exactly right now. I will show you here. If the focus is good enough for tonight, we'll see. Okay, well, it's not doing very well. Anyway, here we are. This is the 0 point for Pluto. So that was, the day before yesterday. But we've been building up to it for like a year or 2 years, even 3 years, to get to this 0 point. And the 0 point is going to extend for a few months or whatever it is, a few weeks, while Pluto moves into Aquarius over the 0 degree mark, and then Pluto's going to retrograde and come back all the way over here, okay? Leslie Ellie, it is very strange right now. I'm just going to, so you're not a freak, okay? Hi, Pat, I see you. There's another quirky thing right now. It's not quirky, it's just particular lineup of events. I've put extra marks around them, is the Mars moving into Cancer at the 0 degrees. So we have a 0 degree point here, a 0 degree point here for starters. Now we also have the Sun just entered Aries. We're still in single digits, so it's almost 0 degrees over here. We also have Mercury and Jupiter tightly conjoined. Now, if we had a really clear sky here, I could probably see these in the sky late tonight, much later tonight. You could see Mercury and Jupiter lined up really close together in Aries. And the moon is different because the moon's already moved into Gemini, but we could still see Venus, okay? You can't see Uranus, okay? Mars is way over here in Cancer, 0 degrees. So we've got these, I put these marks here. Pluto on the cusp, 0 degree Aquarius. Saturn on the cusp, 0 to 1 degree Pisces. Sun more or less on the cusp, 0 to a few degrees Aries. Mars on the cusp, 0 degree Cancer. That's all cusp energy. Cusp, 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 cusp. Actually, I should put that here as well if I'm going to do it completely. And so when you're on cusp energy, it's like, especially when it's this extreme, you have so many cusps happening simultaneously, it's like when you drive through a city, especially a big city with a big city center and lots of interstates and freeways that mingle, and a lot of cities have a place that they call a spaghetti junction, where there's lots of different highways that merge and come in and out of each other. And you have to be very alert and make very, very exact, precise decisions very, very quickly and very accurately. Otherwise, you can end up in a lot of trouble, end up going off here and there. So you might, if you're feeling like, which way do I go? What am I supposed to do? What's happening all around me? You see, when the planets are in the central energies here, like Uranus in 15, 16, it's very obvious that they're in their power and you get comfortable with it, especially the outer planets. But when the planets are on the cusp points, it can get a little uncomfortable because you're shifting from one type of energy field to another. Okay? I'm trying to illustrate this here. From over here, like Pluto in Capricorn, we've had that for 18 years. People got very comfortable with Pluto in Capricorn. All the global multinational corporations and the banks and the political ruling elites, whether you're evil or good, they became very comfortable with Pluto in Capricorn, and they spent all their time and energy trying to coalesce and merge their power so that they could have extreme money, power, and control that they hadn't had for 250 years. And they've more or less achieved it, especially when we reached January 2020. But that turned into an explosive moment where effectively the world fractured. And I wrote my book, Wealth, Money, Finance, Global Restructuring. That was January 2020 when the initial massive tectonic plate of astrology shifted. Crunch time. And now we're dealing with the after effects, and especially recently with Pluto around the 29 degree mark, it's become very extreme for the plutocrats, all the people who are heavily vested in world money, world power, and world control. because their world is falling apart, because it is the end. We are in the death phase of the Pluto cycle here. We're moving into the new phase. The new phase is the energy of screw the previous cycle. We the people are going to take back power, money, control for we the people. And of course, the folks up here don't like that. So there's this tremendous global pressure that has been building up, and it's here with us right now. There's the global elites, a very tiny number of people, are doing everything they can to impose all the control onto we the people so that they can have all the money and all the power. Well, it's going to be a fight, folks. A very big, long, dragged-out fight. Saturn just moved into Pisces. Okay, right here. Another super stress point. The way I see it, we're looking at a 2.5-year journey over here in the 12th house. And sadly, what I see right now is the unhealthy aspects of Saturn and Pisces being expressed. We have Neptune in Pisces here. We had a lot of Neptune energy for a while. And because we have so much accumulated fraud, deception, lies, betrayal, abuse, crime that's been building up for the last 20 years. In fact, I would say even 40 years. It has to go somewhere. And it's happening now. The Pisces energy is being tested, especially Neptune and Pisces. The healthy thing is that we will experience a form of, let's say, divine manifest, or divinity manifest, where we will start to see what you could even call God's works becoming manifest on earth. As an opposition to the work of humanity that was very, let's say, unhealthy, toxic, evil. And so we're going to see an outpouring of sludge, toxic poison, toxic pollution, all caused by perverted human behavior. It's going to come out like sludge over the next 2.5 years, and you've got to reveal it to heal it. So that's what we're going to have happen. There are going to be multiple transits as planets go through that cycle, okay? So we're just seeing the opening salvo of these things. And this is just Pluto and Saturn we're talking about right now. With Pluto and Saturn, we're seeing revolutionary upheaval, and we're seeing big tests against the evil cabal, okay? I don't know. Are you the only one buffering? Everything seems here good, okay? I'm just going to check. Path, I'm going to do a little scan on all my systems. Give me a moment here. That looks good. Okay, that's all good. That's all good. That's all good. Okay, no, everything's good on this end. Okay, Path Traveler. So, hey, Mr. Ross, good evening. So, just to take account of these two, these are very, very big shifts in energy, and they're happening very, very deep at the pit of our souls of humanity. So we might, for a lot of people, are feeling very unsettled, very queasy, very, let's say, pulled or drawn into new directions, new experience, new feelings that they haven't had to deal with for a very, very long time. And some of it's very uncomfortable, especially if you have trigger spots that match up, okay? Sun is in Aries right now, so there's a tremendous amount of very feisty behavior all across planet Earth. There are a lot of human beings who are rising up, demanding their right to be their sovereign selves and screw everything and anybody else. And they are acting in these, I would say, very aggressive, assertive manners. For example, all the riots in France. And there's a tremendous amount of rioting in other parts of the world as well, protesting as people wake up and realize my sovereign self has been destroyed, stolen betrayed by our so-called leaders, including the leaders of the banking system. That's not right. So this is fearsome, fearsome energy, heavily expanded by Jupiter and Mercury. Vivid, vivid explanations of everything that's not right that needs to be addressed. Human rights issues. So that's being lit up right now for the whole of the Aries season. There's a lot of people who are very, very, what I would call damaged souls all across the world. Billions of people. Okay? So, yes, Mr. Ross, I am doing a few mini readings tonight. Got to do some donations. Let me point that out. Thanks for reminding me. If anybody wants a reading for a little mini reading tonight, you can go to tarotlumination.com. On a device or something, click the donate page. The other thing you can do is go over here. I've tried to do the same thing where you can just click the link from the chat. Here, watch this, see if it works. And it should take you to the same place, and you go through the same process. You can swipe a debit card and a credit card, or if you have your own PayPal, you can swipe your own PayPal. So that makes it very simple. Thank you for asking, Gregory. Now, okay. Elizabeth Babcock, good evening. Now, oh gosh, I gotta put this over here. Give me a second, I've lost myself. I'm gonna go back over here. All right, here we go. All right, so Mercury and Jupiter are combined here. I think Jupiter is going to expand the desire and the need for people to want to be heard. So the people who want to communicate and voice their anger and frustration and their desire and demand for being their sovereign selves, they're going to express it. And it's going to be heavily amplified. I see that to do with a lot of riots. Venus is conjunct Uranus right now in Taurus. Venus is a money sign. Taurus is the money sign. The North Node is in Taurus. The whole idea is that humanity, human behavior, must head into the direction of honest money, real money, sovereign wealth, wealth that is manifested through your own labor, skill, talents, efforts, work, career, gifts that you can own. For example, let's say you could go to a day job and earn a pile of money and keep it, and not only keep it, but it could maintain its value and increase its value over time. Of course, that's anathema to the South Node over here, which is over in Scorpio, which is where there is a tremendous amount of CRAP going on right now in the world of other people's money. In other words, the global banking system. You might have noticed that it is falling apart because they insist on staying stuck, holding on to their old ways of betrayal, deception, lies, fraud, theft, which is how the global banking system works. Thank you, Mr. Ross. That's the South Node over here. I should mark that, shouldn't I? Yes. Okay. And that journey is going to change soon as the nodal axis moves over here. So Venus is a money sign. Uranus is in the money sign. Uranus is representing awakening, shock, upheaval, unpredictability, and destabilization. The process of awakening so that we, the people, can awaken and be awakened. And so the way that translates is to earthquakes, shock waves, revolutions, upheaval in the global financial system as the legacy banking system starts to implode and collapse, basically fall apart, and a new global banking system is starting to emerge. That's going to affect everybody on Earth. It's going to be a long journey as this grows out and manifests. I look at it as simple terms. The world of fake money versus real money. Places like that are in deep trouble, like El Salvador, a lot of places in Africa, they're already well ahead on this journey because they're so desperate. They can't trust any of this anymore, so they're starting to look into things like cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin as alternatives that cannot be defiled or abused and destroyed by these people over here. And it's still, again, very, very, very early days. The moon is in Gemini. Personally, when the moon is in Gemini, for me, I often feel very, very, very jittery, very uneasy with the, you could call it day-to-day commerce, okay? Path Traveler, you've just nailed it. Deutsche Bank is in deep trouble, okay? Right now, today, let me just state this one up here. Today, Jamie Dimon, the boss over at JP Morgan Chase, held a supposedly very secret, quiet, private emergency meeting between the top 5 big American commercial retail banks. He did it in the privacy of his own home. I think it's a meeting for whatever they call it, the FOSC, Financial Oversight Stability Committee. And they're basically trying to figure out what the hell are we going to do with the global banking system, because we are looking at a total meltdown. Look at it this way. The global financial system, based on the United States Federal Reserve banking model, is carrying this much debt, and they only have this much real asset in terms of perhaps gold or whatever. And this debt is not sustainable. All the debt that is out there is deeply distressed. If you think of it like the pillars of debt: credit cards, college loans, car payments, mortgages, business loans. They're all in deep, deep jeopardy because of inflation, the value of your American dollars going this way, and the price of everything going this way, and it's all manufactured by the elites themselves at the very top, because they can't help themselves. They just can't help themselves. They are trying to find a way to keep their model going forever, because it works very well for them. It's not so good for we the people. But it is falling apart. It's just evolution. Remember, we've got some eclipses coming up. I think I mentioned that last week. And they're going to be very much to do with the global financial system. Okay? So, behind the scenes, it's starting to leak out, Saturn in Pisces. It's leaking out. They can't stop the flood of sewage and the stench of the sewage of all the betrayal, deception, lies, deceit that's been going on by the elites for so long. The American politics, for example, all the folks who are trying to essentially destroy the United States from the inside have been doing a very good job of it for the last 30 years. But enough is enough, and a lot of Americans are very slowly being woken up out of a stupor, starting to realize that this is not acceptable. Our amazing place, the United States, has been heavily poisoned, undermined, polluted, and it's very tragic. And we the people are going to take it back. But there will be a fight, okay? It's all of this is happening simultaneously, and it's almost like it's too much to handle with all these cusp things happening. Like I said, with the astrology, It's very, very complicated. There's so much information coming from so many different angles because of the way the planets happen to be lined up right now. It's not like the planets are trying to hurt us or anything. They're just doing what they do. It's up to us how we handle the energy, okay? So, let's see. All right. Oh, Mars in Cancer. Let's go back over here. Just wanted to just do a couple more notes over here. So we got Mars in Cancer at the Leo point. So there's a lot of, let's say, what I would call aggro. Mars is not happy in the sign of Cancer. Mars in Cancer basically has different types of profiles, like really, okay, Mars in Cancer, I want to just hunker down into my little world, and I want to become extremely defensive and protective, including using weapons, using force if necessary to protect my home and my foundations and my family. Now this affects the United States because the United States as an entity is starting to feel threatened. Enemies both foreign and domestic. There's a lot of talk about World War III. There's a lot of talk about, China, Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Iran, all these highly combustible situations that had the hallmarks of war. That's true. The biggest enemy for the United States, remember, the United States has a very strong Cancerian profile with 4 planets in Cancer. The scary thing for the United States is not the foreign enemies, okay? Okay? You have to understand, the Russian military is huge, but it's old and clunky. The Chinese military is huge, but it's old and it's heavily populated with soldiers and, weapons. And they do have a small amount of very advanced, highly advanced weaponry, all stolen from here and here. But they have very little experience, okay, in these high-grade weapons uses. They're doing a good job as well as they can, but in terms of offensive capabilities, the United States dwarfs anything on Earth. There are a lot of news folks who are saying the America is doomed because our military is stretched all over Europe, all over here, the Ishtans, all over here with our military bases everywhere. From the American perspective, there are problems all over Earth because America is trying to protect its empire, the American empire. Over here, China and Russia are basically becoming one entity, and they're trying to. There are 30 places right now trying to join the BRICS nations to essentially circumvent the U.S. dollar. So that's terrifying for America. Once the dollar is more circumvented, the problems inside America with the American banking system are going to appear much, much worse. And we Americans could experience a serious decrease in quality of life as other nations decide enough. We're going to default to the Chinese yuan or the ruble or something, or gold, or a new SDR currency that's gold backed, so they can come to their own terms of reality. But in the meantime, Mars in Cancer is an indication of war for America. So in the mainstream, they're talking about all the war type energy out here, and they are not putting any attention onto the real problem, which is inside America. Okay? The real problem is right here in Washington, D.C., okay? And a little bit of Wall Street. The enemy is within. The biggest enemy to the United States is right here in America. And it is a group of elites who are deliberately trying to destroy this amazing thing that we have that no one else has on the country. They're trying to, number one, destroy our Constitution, especially the First and Second Amendments in the Bill of Rights. Strip away our ability to defend ourselves, strip away our ability to speak and travel and move around, and replace it with, what do you think? Tyranny! I had a lot of, let me just show you. Let me just show you. These are all my notes. I was going to do a video, then I remember, oh my God, it's Sunday. I've got a show tonight. I can't do two. So these are all my notes for today. There's this, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it was all over the place. I was looking at my charts. I mean, where do you start? In the United States, you've got Donald, okay? And he's having a massive resurgence for his Make America Great movement. And the people who are trying to take him down are doing everything they can to take him down. But it doesn't work, and it never will work, okay? The real traitors, the real enemy in our country, in America, the real enemy, the real threat of danger, imminent danger, is from inside America, okay? If you can't see it now, you're going to see it soon enough. I don't know if we're going to have riots like France, but it's getting pretty bad. Here's the other thing. Russia, okay? They are now openly declaring we're getting ready to nuke, okay? Xi Jinping was over there hanging out with Vladimir Putin, and they've basically become best buddies. And they're forming this economic alliance now because they can. They've decided we don't need America. Screw them. We can do exchanges in our own currencies, blah, blah, blah. And she will support Vladimir. The Ukraine war is expanding. In response, of course, you've got NATO and America expanding its defenses and offenses. Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Denmark together have formed a new alliance called the Joint Force. It has a total of 250 fighter jets, and they're going to operate as a single fighting unit to go alongside NATO. The Israel-Middle East thing is going absolutely berserk right now, especially the Israel-Iran situation. These are two populations that have hated each other's guts for thousands of years, and they're just still at it. The BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is expanding as the United States dollar fails. I just talked about that. The banking crisis, we're looking at the tectonic plates in the global financial system. They are rattling and shaking, just like what happens with earthquakes and volcanoes. Okay? You can't stop it. Oh, man. I was trying to boil down, there are different languages for the way things are coming out. Things get very, very black and white when you're dealing with Pluto. You're in or out, yes, no, on, off, left, right, positive, negative. For example, we've got community versus communism. Which would you prefer? We've got we the people versus tyranny. Which would you prefer? We've got freedom versus imprisonment, which is virtual tyranny. Which would you prefer? We've got the West versus the East. That's a tricky one. But in the end, I see it as a simple thing, as freedom versus tyranny. And a lot of it crunches down to the global financial system. Both sides of the equation have failed. Tyranny equals freedom. Freedom equals tyranny. America has done an incredibly good job of propagating its fraudulent system for 120 years now, and it's all coming apart. It's all based around the collapse of the United States dollar. The whole of Africa, pretty much everything here in sub-Saharan Africa, they're coming completely unglued. Their economies, their cultures, their politics, it's just an implosion. It's very frightening, and they're all trying to get out of here, head north to Europe. Of course, it's mayhem. It's really, really tragic. A lot of it is, of course, we got 8 billion people trying to find out, like, how the hell am I going to live? Another thing about Uranus and Taurus over here is all the pollution. And Saturn in Pisces, all the pollution. It's becoming very obvious that planet Earth is heavily polluted by human activity. What are we going to do about it? How are you going to clean up the poop in our own backyard when there's no more backyard? Everything is filled up. Every fragment of Earth is contaminated. All the oceans, the rivers, the lands, the timber, everything. The animals, humans, everything. What are we going to do? I think I talked about Southeast Asia. Yeah. USA. Oh, yeah, here we go. The USA, Philippines, Japan, South Korea, Australia, and New Zealand. They are tightening up their alliance, realizing that we have an awful lot to lose if Taiwan is attacked by China. So there's that. There's this block of human beings, and there's this block of human beings. They're trying to take each other down. That's, you could call it like this: the US dollar versus the yuan. America versus China. Simplify. That's what everything is polarizing. Everything is polarizing. I know people don't like to hear it, but you're either with this group or you're with that group. So a lot of us, of course, don't have a choice. You're either born into it or born into it. And we're setting up basically for World War III. Inflation, classic precursor. Runaway crazy inflation being denied right now by the U.S. banking system. Oh, there's not a problem. We'll figure it out. No. It's the precursor to war. And a lot of it, of course, is deliberate because the elites, they can't help themselves. It's just lust, lust, lust. More power, more money, more control. And they've figured out how to do it. They're restricting the global supplies of pretty much everything, commodities. Allowing them to raise prices, restrict supply, and that turns into, guess what? It's called profits for the elites. Okay? It's a corporatocracy, plutocracy, oligarchy, whatever you want to call it. It's the shadow dark side of Pluto in Capricorn at 29 degrees, hovering, crossing over into 0 degrees. What are you going to do about it? How are you going to deal with all this? This is overwhelming, okay? Jamie Dimon and the global American banking system, they don't know what to do. They've been using their scams for so long, but the scams aren't working anymore. The contagion has gone global. There you go. Okay, I'm going to tuck all this over here. Let's go check in. Okay, that was my little rant. So, let me go over here a second. Yeah, so, there's nowhere to run, really. There are other places that are, let's say, more fortunate than others. I feel very fortunate on the global scale of good fortune. I have shelter, okay? I have solid shelter. I have good defenses. Good fences make good neighbors. I'm thinking very much in the Mars Cancer vibrations here. Protect your money, protect your privacy, protect yourself, protect your home, protect your family, protect your loved ones. Use aggressive strategies and tactics as needed. Do not be shy. You got to do what you have to do. Financially, what are you going to do? Some people are up to their neck in debt. What are you going to do? Some people have no debt, so they don't have to worry so much about that stuff. I was listening to some of my favorite people today. There's one fellow talking about, like, well, I'm still a working person. I have a home and a family. He's still pretty young to do all that. He has a bunch of acres in a neighborhood where it's okay and legal to homestead. I think he's got it set about 7 acres. They grow 80% of the food they eat, and they keep chickens and small farm animals, and they barter for beef and pork. But they have water, And they have everything that I talked about. They have all their generators, power, solar, water supplies, spare water, spare energy. They can generate their own electricity. And if the cell phone towers go out, there's nothing anybody can do about that anyway. So you end up in a position, well, what are you going to do? Gasoline restrictions, gasoline rations, food rations. We're not there yet in the United States. But some people are noticing and feeling it. But if you go to some other countries, if you're in Honduras, El Salvador, parts of Argentina, huge parts of Africa, parts of Southeast Asia, parts of the Middle East, especially the farther out Middle East in the Ishtans, there is poverty, deprivation, starvation. At least 2 billion people on Earth do not have access to any kind of remotely clean or fresh water. It's toxic poison. But they still drink it and use it anyway because they don't have a choice. And they know it. And there are YouTube channels about all of it. And they can't do anything. They're screwed. Their babies are born deformed. Their lifespan is very short. Well, they have to do things that in some ways are despicable, shameful, and they wouldn't do them if they didn't have to. It's just a question of survival. I'm thinking rats in a cage. 8 million rats in a cage. Did you see that clip of the mice rampaging all over Africa, all over Australia? Millions and millions of mice, these plagues of mice destroying crops. It's just another Uranus and Taurus thing, the way I see it. We've had a lot of shifting around with volcanoes and earthquakes recently, and more stuff going on around Turkey and Syria. Again, what do you expect? It's all highly predictable. I don't know. It's coming from so many angles. It's mind-boggling. So again, imagine your life is a journey, and your vehicle is your body, and you're conducting the journey going forward. You wake up, you get up, you do things, you take care of yourself. The end of the day happens, and you're depleted, you're tired, you have to go to rest. But during the day of survival, it might feel very complicated. Just like the spaghetti junctions that I was talking about. The traffic, there's no retrogrades, major retrogrades. So the traffic is moving, okay? All the traffic's moving, but it's fast and it's complicated. And you cannot afford to get swept up in the wrong off-ramp or the wrong on-ramp to where you're going, what you're doing. So you have to be exceptionally alert. You have to be willing to process. You have to be ready, willing, and able to process a lot of information very quickly, like a supercomputer. And a lot of people aren't ready, willing, or able to do that, so they come unglued. They have breakdowns. Their health collapses. Their brain, their spirit, their hope implodes and collapses. They lose faith. They despair. There's loss of love. Oh, man. On the other hand, this is just evolution. This is just stuff happening. It's not good, it's not bad. If you were watching Planet Earth from outer space and you could watch everything in great detail, you would just see, pollution is taking over. People are swarming. Human beings are starting to swarm. Or they're swarming away from bad places, trying to swarm towards good places. For example, over in northern China, there's hardly any natural water. So what are they doing? They're trying to swarm into eastern Russia. Do you think the Russians are going to tolerate that en masse? I don't know. Think of what's happening with sub-Saharan Africa. Millions and millions of people are trying to flee, emigrate out of sub-Saharan Africa, heading north up into Europe. People like Giorgia Meloni are saying no. Same thing with the president in Hungary. No. Sorry about that, folks. I don't care if you call me like a racist bastard. You can't come here. We got enough problems taking after our own people. And so it creates even more desperation. It's crazy stuff, man. Crazy, crazy stuff. In the end, you've got to do what you have to do to take care of yourself. Protect. You've got to protect yourself. Protect your money. Protect your privacy. Protect yourself. Protect your health. Protect your assets. Do an inventory. Like, what have you got that has real value? What do you have that has fake value? Ditch all the fake stuff. Strip down. What's the word? What's that word? Downsize. Just get rid of anything that could weigh you down in a position of fight or flight. Okay? Please anticipate some form of warlike environment. Okay? It's already happening across America. There's so much devastation, so much sabotage. It's unmistakable. So what are you going to do when that energy, or if or when it comes at you directly? Okay? It's very hard to do the Mars thing, the Aries thing of fight or flight when you are heavily burdened by things that, let's say, are not absolutely essential to your survival. Now, a lot of people, especially in America, are so comfortable, even as bad as things are, they're so comfortable that they're not aware of what's happening. And they're like, oh, I don't see what the problem is. What are you talking about, oh, you crazy doomers, you crazy preppers, all you, like, MAGA, crazy patriot nutcases. What are you doing? Just trying to stir the pot. Everything's great. You know, gasoline's a little more expensive, food's a little more expensive, eggs went up. Oh, big whoop. Grow up, do something about it. Prices always go up. I'm sorry. Those people have no concept about what's actually going on. Okay? See you, Elizabeth Babcock. Okay? Alright. Yeah, maintain attitude, gratitude. So, anyway, excuse me. I've been sneezing a lot and my sinuses are kind of a mess. We have a reading to do for Mr. Ross. And I'll stop my rant. By the way, this video is not... I don't even bother to monetize the videos anymore. There's no point. If people do put money in Super Chat, it goes straight into the Google Alphabet YouTube coffers. I don't see it. They have basically switched me off. So there you go. Okay, let's go over here. Alright, okay. I'm going to put this over here. Let's clear up all of this. I'll put this aside in case we need it for Mr. Ross. I can clear this one, clear this one. This can all stay over here. Clickety click. And I'm going to keep the ephemeris handy because it's a really... We're at critical mass, okay? Here we go. Alright, let's see what's going on. This is going to sound kind of rude, people, but I just have to kind of do it. Part of me feels like saying, oh, well, I told you so. But I'm not aiming at you folks personally, but I feel like I have to say I told you so. You know, when I wrote my little book years ago, I pinpointed January 2020 as the pivot point. That's actually the point at which the elites made their decision, the formal decision, to openly and publicly drop the bomb. Okay? They nuked the planet Earth with a bioweapon. And you can't undo that. It's happened, and it unleashed the rest of their agenda, which is now fully manifested across planet Earth. And everybody on planet Earth is now basically saying, what the hell have we been putting up with for the last 120 years? Okay? Couple of things. Please bear with me, Gregory. Just want to be a bit patient here. There's been some freakish synchronicity recently over here with Path and Love Triber exchanging information and ideas for things to watch and learn and everything. And last night was a classic example. I think it was Path Traveler. Hello, Tina. Path Traveler said, "Hey, Love Triber, you got to watch this one. It's a I can't remember the title of it, but it's one of these like end of the world movies." And it was made in 1981. It was actually a Christian movie, but you wouldn't tell at first. But anyway, it kind of morphed into that about how Jesus is going to save you, and there's the revelations, there's the rapture and all that kind of stuff, which was kind of built into the storyline. But when the movie started and opened up, there was this main character. He was the evil boss leader of something called the New World Governance. I think that was what it's called. And he was in a board meeting with all the top 20 elites of the whole world, all the bankers, all the corporations. And he was basically saying everything that Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum have been propagating for the last 20 years. But they did this in 81. Okay? And it was really freakish. I was thinking, whoa, my God, this is the screenplay that's playing out today, word for word. And of course, there were some people who were in complete denial. This is ridiculous. It's not happening. And the rest of America was just puttering around doing its thing. But a couple of very sensitive, hyper-aware people, the hero lady and the hero fellow, who fell in love, of course, at the end. And they met Jesus at the end, and that was wonderful. But in the journey, they were fighting off the evil elite, whose agenda was to take over the whole world and turn the whole of planet Earth into a massive debt farm and a slave camp, simply to serve a handful of elites at the very, very top. I was so... my jaw was like... I was like that the whole movie, just watching it unfold. It's the same thing happening here today. Tina, are you up for more? Too late to send money. You up for more? And so I can do one more. Yeah. And that'll be it. So we'll do a reading for Gregory, a reading for Tina. Oh, by the way, there's Elizabeth Babcock. It seems like she spells it with an S, but there's also Elizabeth Boucher. Okay? And she's actually a dear friend of mine back in Los Angeles. And guess what happened to her? I think I hinted a few days ago. Well, I was talking about it with friends anyway. She was heavily pressured by her family, who is in healthcare. Take the jab. You have to take the jab. You're being irresponsible if you don't take it. And eventually she caved in and she took the jab. 3 years later, after all the big scare. And within 5 days, she's in a hospital. She can't breathe. She's in a hospital right now, tonight. She was entered into the emergency ward last night with a major... It feels like you're dying, okay? Don't worry, Maria, we can do it. Another time. We'll do it another time, Maria. I didn't even know you were here. Hello, Maria. Over there in Arkansas. You were pretty close to those big hurricanes and tornadoes, weren't you? Anyway, Elizabeth is in a hospital tonight. That's Elizabeth Boucher. She is the writer. I've mentioned her quite a few times on the channel. I helped her finish her screenplays, and I'm helping her to finish authoring her novel. She's still working on the manuscript, but she is very, very sick right now, in a very, very dire situation in the hospital, UCLA, Los Angeles, Santa Monica Hospital, okay? Yeah, it's really bad. It's bad. And it's a direct result of the injection. So, yeah. And for example, Love Triber knows a lot of people who've had a lot of vaccine damage. I shouldn't even say the word, but my video is not monetized, so probably nothing will happen. We'll just keep it going. Tina, you have money. That's what they say with PayPal. You have money. Thank you. All right. Let's get rolling over here. Okay. Okay, we got Mr. Ross, Gregory Ross over here. Okay, and then we're going to do a reading for Tina. Okie dokie. All right, that's good enough. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your kindness, generosity. God, it was... Again, with that Uranus, Taurus stuff, you know, I was talking about it earlier. Maria, I don't know if you were here earlier. I went on a long rant about the Astrodoodle. Right now, this position here, with Uranus in Taurus, around 17, 16 degrees, that is fearsomely powerful energy. It's the energy of global destabilization of all physical matter. Things like the tectonic plates, earthquakes, volcanoes, hurricanes, fires, flooding, droughts, all the worst of it. Massive shifts in tectonic plates. There's huge amounts of activity all across the world right now with volcanoes and earthquakes. And it's a parallel situation in the global financial system, okay? Venus, one of the planets of money, is right there too, okay? So, yeah. Just wanted to add that for Maria, in case she missed it. But, my gosh, it's amazing. If you see all this stuff, all this sabotage that's going on across America. Oh, you know, animals, you know, cows, pigs, chickens, all the farms and the factories and the infrastructure and the supply chains. Then all the chemicals and the food manufacturing plants, Tyson chickens, all the chemical plants, a huge one exploding down near Houston. A nuclear spill up in Minnesota. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. All right, here we go. All right, Mr. Ross, let's see what's happening. Thank you, sir, for your questioning. So, what kind of messages do we have here for Mr. Ross tonight? Some of you know Mr. Ross very well. He's been a avid supporter of the channel for a long time, just along with many of you yourselves. And some of you have actually met him on our Zoom sessions. Oh, look who's here. Oh, little Bubba. Little Bubba Meister. I think he's thirsty. So he's going to go and have a little sip of water, and then I'm probably going to have to remove him from the studio. It's terrible. I hate doing that. I'm a total wimp. I totally indulge this little fellow. I shouldn't really. I've spoiled him in ways. Okay. I'm going to shuffle. Let's bless this deck. Bless every single card. It's amazing how these cards. I mean, I'm just going to pull one out. I mean, just look at the graphics here. Look at the Queen. I mean, to me, this is just outstanding artwork, and the way they manufacture the cards. It's just beautiful. I'm an artist and writer, musician myself, so I'm very sensitive to those things. Ah, man. Ivona, I did not know that about your dad. We can talk about that when we chat. Okay? It'll probably have to be tomorrow, okay, Ivona? Like with the astrology again, before I go on to read for you, Gregory, like there's so much going on here. I could easily tell you, oh, watch out for this trigger point in your chart. Watch out for this. I mean, there's so many trigger points right now. It kind of doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what your sun, moon, and ascendant, rising sign is. Forget all that. This is just really complicated for everybody. In all signs, in all houses, everywhere. This is because this stuff is sitting somewhere in your chart, okay? Of course, in simple terms, we got this sweet harmony here, here, here. And this is super stressful here. We've talked about that. It's an out of sign. It's an out of sign square. So it's, again, even harder to interpret and manage. It's interesting because the folk. Sorry, I keep distracting myself and everybody else. It's like we've been doing this for years now. Okay, on this channel we have our tiny little community, and I, for one, have become very, let's say, like you're part of my life, you know. And some of us know each other, some of us have met each other, some of us know each other through the Zooms, and it's a wonderful way to actually have like a mutual support system. If I can, I'm hoping to set one up, a private meeting this Wednesday, which will be the 29th. It'll probably be at 5 p.m. Because of the American population. I wish I could do... I might try to do another one at noon or 11 a.m. to account for Europe and Eastern Europe and North Africa and New Zealand and Australia and so on. But we'll see anyway. But yeah, we have become, quite supportive of each other, entwined in each other's stories and learning from each other's pain and suffering and each other's joys and celebrations, you know? All right, over here. Excuse me. All right, cards are well shuffled. So Gregory, do whatever you got to do. Get comfortable, get cozy. Invite your invisible friends to gather round, gather tight, gather close. I'm already set up over here. I'm very fortunate in that regard, and we're going to share in any way we can. I'll do my best. Let's see what we've got here. Using the same old situational spread. It's our little diagnostic tool. Plug it in and see what we get. All right. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. Okay? Hey, Bubba. Oh, are you hungry? Oh, you have to wait a little bit, okay? And let's see. External influences. Okay. So we've got the Nine of Swords here. Now, this is not you, Gregory. This is an external influence. What this indicates to me is that you may be experiencing a lot of external stressful events or energies or Bubba. Excuse me, I'm working with Mr. Ross. Oh, please. Oh, God. All right. I know you can't help yourself, Bubba. All right, so I'm just going to tuck in over here. I'll move Bubba down in a minute. But he was very insistent. So with the Nine of Swords here, this is an indication that there's plenty of stuff out there that could theoretically trigger stresses from any and every angle imaginable. Just like today's astrodoodle. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be a victim. It just means your senses need to be alert and aware that this that this energy is out there. It's affecting, to me, the way I see it, this is affecting the whole of planet Earth right now. And you, Gregory, are sensing it in your own way and how it affects you. But the key thing is to be aware that this stuff is out there. Otherwise, you would be a victim. You don't have to be a victim. You've got us, you've got your reading here tonight, so you don't have to be a victim. It might feel stress, but that doesn't have to own you, okay? Alicia Harris, oh gosh, hold on. Alicia, sorry. All right. I've just started a fresh reading here, Alicia, and then I've got a reading for Tina. I don't know if I'll get to any more readings tonight. Maria wanted one. If you want one, it's by donation. I'll put the link here for you. I don't know if I'll be able to handle it, frankly. My voice is still very weak. I don't know what it is. It's like heaven. My angels are telling me, please only do very modest shows. There's no more 4-hour, 5-hour shows anymore. There's no more allowed to do where you deplete yourself. I can't do that. All right. So I don't know if I can help you, Alicia, tonight, but what I would invite you to do, Alicia, is get in touch with me personally here. You can do it through the website, tarotlumination.com, but this is my actual email address here. A little book about at yahoo.com, and we can try and figure something out perhaps, okay? Okay. All right, Bubba. Now, Bubba, I have to do some work. I'm actually working here, okay? So I'll come out. I'll help you, okay? Don't worry, Bubba. All right, let's go over here, and I'm going to pop that over there. All right. Bubba, I'm sorry. You'll have to wait, okay? I will take care of you. No problem. All right. All right, let's have a look. So, Gregory, please do not stress about this, okay? This is not you. It's not your energy. It's external influences. And I would say it's like the Nine of Swords for everybody. I think this equates very closely to my depiction of Spaghetti Junction for everybody right now in the journey through life, where everyone is encountering a simultaneous Spaghetti Junction type of experience. Traffic here, traffic there, on ramps here, off ramps there, up around the loop, out around the loop. You get it's very, very easy to be very disoriented in these kind of situations, okay? Especially if it's the really big spaghetti junctions like they have like in San Bernardino, Southern California. My God, you should see that place. Or else, for example, on the I-5 in downtown Los Angeles or something like that. Anyway, don't stress, Alicia. We can follow up. I just probably can't really do it tonight right now. All right, Gregory, let's have a look. What's the situation? Okay. To me, this imparts, it's sort of like an energy of struggle is what I'm sensing here, where you're going into the depths of your soul, trying to it's almost like you're trying to rationalize your energy in how am I supposed to conduct myself, manage my energy in such a way, because I have so much capability, okay? This is a very, very strong card, okay? It's a card of strength. And the thing is, the question is, how is that strength expressed? What is the meaning and the purpose behind the strength, okay? Like, for example, here is my hand, and it has a certain amount of strength. Now, if I was really pissed off with somebody, I could turn this into a fist and go and attack them, okay? If I wanted to help somebody, I could give them a hug or a cuddle or apply some healing practice. It's still the same hand. And For example, if you're carrying a lot of rage and anger inside of you about all the injustices in the world, in your life, in every way, shape, or form, friends, family, climates, clients, climate, the condition of the world, possible fear of World War III, whatever it might take that might be freaking you out right now, it could easily be triggering the fight or flight energy inside of you to the point where, man, like just almost like boiled up ready for fight or flight. And those are two very different energies, the way they express. A lot of people, when they are in a potential situation where they feel there is danger or threatened and they have to use maximum force, their full power, their full strength, some people actually get paralyzed. They can't fight and they can't flight. And that's not acceptable for you, Gregory. So you have to make decisions under pressure. And you have to make sure that when you exercise all your energy and strength and power, it is exercised in healthy expression towards the divine, okay? The divine expression of energy. Sometimes we have to forgive our enemies and forgive our perpetrators in order to proceed in life so that we don't take things so personally and understand that there's other people who can't handle this kind of energy and they will come unglued and their fight or flight instincts may be directed at you and you don't deserve it, but you still end up having to make decisions. So it's very important to make sure that in order to maintain like stability in your world and to keep going and to take full command and control of all your innate gifts, strengths, powers, natural benevolence, because you're by nature you are a very benevolent being. To me, this is a message that you're actually struggling with that, but you know what to do. You know you have to, let's say, tame the energy and make sure that you know our hands are holy. We express so much of our life through our hands, whether it's work, a chore, or driving a car, waving at somebody, hugging somebody, writing things down, swiping a credit card, whatever it is. So much life is conducted through our hands, and our hands are holy. It's very important that you continue with the expression of your energy in a way that is divine, okay? Essentially choose the path of divinity. Especially while Saturn is in Pisces, testing everybody to choose divinity over treachery, lies, betrayal, deception, theft, fraud. It's a decision. Now, what's the challenges here? Okay, to me this feels like a fierce boiling up energy inside of you where there's a strong desire to get even with with the people who perpetrate against you in your life, in your world, either in a professional life or a personal life, financial life, the life of survival, sports, friendship, shopping, groceries, day-to-day life, just the mundane aspects of, with the swords here, like just thinking your way through life. Okay, remember, Mercury is very amplified here right now, and Aries energy is very strong. There's a very strong energy to fight. It's either fight or flight, and a lot of people don't like to fight, and so they actually thwart and suppress their own willingness and ability to fight, and they end up fleeing. But there's the other option where they end up paralyzed. They know they should flee. They know they should fight, but they don't or can't. It's probably because they don't have much experience in either fighting for themselves, for their rights, and standing up for themselves. They don't have that. They weren't raised that way, and they were never raised in such a way to understand imminent danger. They don't know how to flee. A lot of people think it's like a degradation of their ego, their pride, to flee, to run away from a problem so that you can live to fight another day. That's not true. There are times when strategic withdrawal, strategic retreat, tactical retreat especially, is essential to fight so that you can fight another day. And so when I see the Five of Swords here, to me it feels like there's a lot of pent-up energy inside of you, very eager to get even with perpetrators who, let's say, have inflicted harm in ways that you don't deserve. And yet you know full well, deep inside, there is literally no point in trying to take on this battle or try to prove anything or try to get even, because this is a lose-lose energy. If you do expend a lot of energy to try and get even with perpetrators, you are not acting in divinity here. You're actually acting in self-harm, harming others. It's pointless energy. And it's so easy to get sucked up in that. That's like, taking the bait. Like if you're in a bar situation and someone is baiting you into a fight or an argument, it's very easy to take the bait and react. That's dangerous, and things can just get worse. In order to respond healthy, if you're feeling baited and trapped and stressed by all these external influences, and the temptation is to react, you have to remember, with your real strength, you have to respond. That means a calculated, fully conscious, neutral response where you choose the divine expression of energy, your health. You're like, I gracefully choose to remove myself from the conflict. I'm sorry that you're not going to be able to fight with me because I'm not going to fight with you. Thank you very much. That kind of thing. No point in trying to prove that you can win or could win or should win. It's a waste. It'll be a lose-lose. So, potential for a lot of frustration here, but also potential for a lot of growth, because it's learning how to, let's say, become more conscious and deliberately choose divinity as the form of expression of power, self-expression of your sovereign power and dignity and self. So how are we going to deal with that? I would say think of it as, I know this is not normal for this card, but think of it as new starts and new beginnings about how you're going to plan out the world that you want for the future. Okay? And it's going to take decisions. A little bit of this. Remember the Pluto thing I was talking about? It's either this or that. Everything distills down into decisions. Yes, no. In, out, left, right. If you decide to go here, you're not going there. If you decide to go there, you're not going here. If you decide to plant seeds here, the seeds are not being planted here, and so on and so on. We're talking about thousands, millions of decisions in order to move forward in life. And I think all of this relates heavily, heavily, heavily to the cusp energy with all these planets right now, which defaults back to this energy, which defaults back to my astrodoodle here. Cusp, 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 cusp. Conjunction. What's it world? When the two planets are tightly together. That's a lot of energy to handle simultaneously, and you have to do it one tiny decision at a time, so that your energy is processed one tiny decision at a time. In other words, demand of yourself, invite your invisible friends to stay very, very close so that you can make a lot of tough decisions very, very quickly, so that you can get through the spaghetti junction without causing damage to others or inviting damage to yourself, so that you take, even if you do make a mistake, you still follow the path of divinity so that you can get back onto the right on-ramps or the right off-ramps and get on with the journey of life, so you don't end up going this way when you should be going that way. Because on highways and interstates in the United States, once you're on a big highway, sometimes it's very hard to get off for a long time to get back and reorient yourself if you're supposed to go that way. So please be very, very aware. tiny, tiny number, thousands of tiny decisions accumulate into one manifestation. And that's very apparent here with this energy. What kind of world are you creating for yourself in the future right now? One tiny decision at a time. Because each tiny decision impacts the ultimate final manifestation. Thank you, Mr. Ross. I hope that helps you. I know I'm talking kind of amorphously here. You've probably got all sorts of a lot of multiple specific situations that need to be dealt with, to which maybe this story will apply each in its own way to each one. Okay. All right, I'm going to put these away. I'm going to do another reading now for Tina. I noticed something on the chat. Oh my God, I just saw that. It's still snowing. 140. Oh my God. Wow. Wow. Jeepers, man. Thank you, Gregory Ross. I hope that helped you. Tina, you're up. Again, it seems like you've been dealing with tremendous instability. And it's not your fault, Tina. You're just it's almost like the Nine of Swords could equally apply to you, as well as actually to all of us here tonight. You know? Try not to take it personally, okay, Tina? It's just energy. Energy is what it is. It's how we respond. There's a healthy way and there's an unhealthy way. Now I've got to shuffle up here. So give me a few. Okay, what kind of messages do we have here for Tina tonight? Sounds like you were very busy earlier. I think I saw something that you were doing your laundry. Some kind of upheaval with recent property matters, deals falling through, miscommunications, or something like that. Very, very, very frustrating. Of course, I've been watching a lot of stuff about global finance and personal finance, and none of this stuff surprises me. The American real estate market is in absolute turmoil, no matter what anybody tells you. Some people profit from this, but a lot of people are hurting and confused. Let's have a look here. All right, here we go. All right, Tina. If you're, you can listen to this in the background. You don't have to watch it. I mean, I'll tell you the card when it comes up, okay? And then, hello, Lesieli. You're still here. Okay, hi. All right, now. So if you're doing lots of multiple chores, multitasking, that's fine. Go for it. You don't have to, because you can also watch this later on our action replay if you want to. So no worries. It'll process pretty quickly after the show's over tonight, and you can just rewind and, sit down in comfort, do it that way. If you just need to get on with chores and stuff right now, okay? All right, now here we go. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it, and let's have a look at external influences. Okay, we got the Ace of Pentacles here. This is a card of sacred opportunity. And it might not feel that way to you right now, Tina, but obviously it's here somewhere, some way, somehow, in some form or another, that there is, like I would say, a ray of hope for you somewhere, somehow, that, let's see, what might appear to be very challenging circumstances actually has a little nugget of opportunity perhaps buried inside, which will eventually be revealed. And I know you can't really see it hardly on the card at all, but it's part of the universal Rider-Waite, design from the original Pamela Coleman Smith. And if you look here, let's see if it comes up on the camera. Do you see the New Horizons through the gateway there? It's still there, okay? All is not lost. Pentacles is also associated with money. And of course, when you're dealing with real estate and property and stuff, money is a very, very big, important thing. This could be an external influence that's out there, ready and waiting for you. You might not even, this is such new energy. It might be something to do with the recent new moon in Aries, and it might not manifest until the full moon or the full moon after that. We have, as far as I can tell, we got another full moon, new moon in Aries, right at the tippy end of the month. So this might be an alert to be aware for work, money type opportunities in life. And the question is, how do you respond? How are you going to handle them? Also, what I'd like to add here, Tina, with the Ace of Pentacles is just to get yourself in the right, let's say, in the right posture. So I'm just going to recite this. I'm going to say it how I say it to myself, and then I'm going to duplicate it for you, okay? Here's what I tell myself. I am worthy. I am deserving. I am open to receive. I am ready. I am willing. I am able to receive. Love, money, health, wealth, abundance, good fortune, opportunity. So now I'm going to address that to you perfectly, okay? Dear Tina, you are worthy, you are deserving, you are open to receive, you are ready, you are willing, you are able to receive. Okay? Here's the situation. Let's have a look. Something to celebrate. Well, maybe let's just keep it really simple for here tonight. Tina, just for tonight, just for now, attitude of gratitude. Remember, no matter how tricky and unstable things might have been for you recently with all this, financial real estate chaos across America, you've still got us. We can share in it all. And one day I'm just going to say this, Tina. I know I deserve a road trip. I know you deserve a road trip. And once things are settled, we're going to celebrate. And this could even indicate a housewarming. Okay? I know it's all ladies, but I like hanging out with the ladies. I'm okay with that. And I don't drink alcohol anymore, but I'm certainly up for my tonic water, my club soda. I like ginger ale. I like my coffee in the morning. Either way, there's definitely something to celebrate. Perhaps if we dig deep enough into the attitude of gratitude. There's something good going on here, Tina. Externally. Just needs to be acknowledged and understood. And celebrated. And enjoyed. I mean, it's actually... Look at it. It's just gorgeous. Look at these ladies having a super time. They are determined to have fun. Advice from John. Oh my gosh. I just turned somebody away, necessary. Oh, what happened? Was that a double duty 19? Oh my God. I didn't see that. Hold on. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by this bright orange thing in the chat. You know? Okay. Alright, messages from John. Okay, let me get back over here. We're actually in the middle of reading now for Tina. I feel sad, necessary. It's just, Sorry, I'm distracted now. I have to get back to the reading for Tina. Okay, let's have a look here. So, let's have a look. Look at this, the Strength card again here. So, with all the turmoil that's going on out there, that's affecting you, this is almost like a extension of Gregory's reading in a way. There is definitely something good going on at the surface that either needs to be celebrated and appreciated, that at least you've got shelter, for example, you've got us, and that eventually there will be some kind of resolution. The thing is that with the Strength card here, obviously, how much strength do you really have to endure this, to get to the point where you can reap the benefits, okay? It's difficult. It's really, really difficult. Keeping up your strength, your courage, your pride, your integrity, your honor, your energy, your pure raw strength. And you cannot dissipate that or waste it. It has to be basically shared. It has to be expressed at the highest levels of divinity. Otherwise, you end up hurting yourself, okay? It could be so easy to self-sabotage in a situation where you've got huge amounts of external stress factors. And yet, you're also in a situation of golden opportunity simultaneously. How do you deal with that? It's really, really hard. It requires tremendous, I would say, poise, dignity, some kind of deep, solid internal core to stay on the path of divinity, even though you might want to go absolutely berserk and ballistic, ranting and raving, blaming and shaming and cursing, anything and everything that's not working for you right now at this moment. Let's see how we're going to deal with things going forward here. Okay, so more swords coming up. So in order to tap into the opportunity, to enjoy the opportunity, and let's say experience the manifestation of that core thing that they call the attitude of gratitude, so that you can literally manifest the goodness into your life, it's very important to understand that you, like all of us at this moment in time, and probably for some time, let me just get into the timing here. The timing is important here. This is very long term. This is long term. This is fleeting, but you'll feel this over the next few weeks. Financial extreme instabilities here. That's affecting everybody. This is moving quite slowly. Okay? A lot of these hot spots here are moving slowly or very slowly. So it requires tremendous poise and integrity and strength and courage to live through it in such a way that you can, let's say, manifest the good stuff. So in order to go forward, let's go back to the spaghetti junction analogy here. It's very important to understand and realize that it is very complex, and you're going to have to make decisions almost like the way I do readings sometimes, going blind, where you know that there are a lot of hazardous, potentially dangerous circumstances, events, situations outside and around you that could be challenging, but they don't have to be. Because deep down, you have very powerful intuition. And sometimes, you probably know this already, Tina, because you're in healing, the healing arts. I'm just going to go over here for a second. Sometimes what can happen with people when they have to make really important decisions, or people who are like psychic mediums, clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, clairsmelliance, all of those things, it's almost like they have to shut themselves down. Like literally put on the blindfold so that they can see. Because when we do everything through our physical senses, a lot of which are up here, sight, sound, smell, taste, and with our skin, touch. Those are very obvious, and we experience them in a very three-dimensional manner. But when we deliberately, I'm going to show you something now, which I learned. I haven't done this in a long time, Tina. It's this, hold on, let me see if I can do this. It's kind of like a meditation trick where you put yourself in a very quiet place, you do some deep breathing, you close your eyes, and preferably put on some kind of eye mask to actually block out extra light. And you place your hands loosely on the top of your head and your thumbs into your ears. And you close out as much sight and sound as possible. And then you do, let's say, 10, 20, 30 long, slow breaths. And you quickly put yourself into effectively what is a meditative state. And then you deliberately choose to, let's say, sense the vision on your prefrontal cortex or your third eye, or the place where you visualize your imaginations, the place where you experience clairvoyance, for example. And so that is something that can be deliberately activated and amplified physically. But it means deliberately putting on the blindfold, just like here in your reading. Let's just say that you are not crippled by the blindfold. Let's just say that you are willingly and deliberately putting on the blindfold so that you can navigate through the maze that is ahead of you. Rather than taking the blindfold off and looking at the maze and all the stress factors and being utterly overwhelmed by how potentially dangerous and frightening it can be, you do exactly the opposite. You deliberately put on the blindfold, put yourself into a heightened state of awareness, deliberately to use your power to access divinity, to get you borderline clairvoyant, so that you can see this, you can see this. You get back to the creative visualization so you can create a manifest destiny that is beautiful and worthy of you. I hope that helps you, Tina. All right, necessary truth. I was going to quit tonight, but you just threw money in the pot. Ay, ay, ay. What are we going to do? So I'm going to give you this reading here, but I did ask someone to defer till next week or in the week, or get in touch with me personally, because I didn't have too much energy to spare tonight. But we're going to do it because you already parted with your money. Okay? And I think I can handle this, okay? I apologize to the person who I redirected. I think it was Alicia. Sorry about that. Thank you, NT. I'm going to shuffle up now. We're going to dive straight in. Advice from John, of course. Okay. Oh, okay. Now, thanks for giving me the heads up. Okay. Just so that you know, this is a horrible thing for me to pull out right now, but necessary, you used the super chat. I don't have a way to deactivate the super chat. I have demonetized my video because I don't want to attract the censorship or the algorithm any more than necessary. And I always believed that when I demonetize the video, I am disabling the super chat, but you have just proved me wrong. That $19.99 has just disappeared into the Google Alphabet YouTube coffers. I will never see that. Okay? I'm sorry to tell you. So next time, please do the PayPal stuff through the terraillumination.com website, or through my little old link here that I've still got going. It's still active. This is the same thing to the same place. Okay? Just saying. All right, let's do this, John. All right, here we go. All right, give me a second here and we'll be right into it. Yeah, I'm sorry. I wish I had a way to disable that thing. It's just not fair. It really is not right. I think that's just gross. Yeah, with this channel right now, it's like the only funding source now for the channel is through the PayPal donations. That's it. There's nothing. There's nothing left. It's completely hollowed out. Thank you, Google, YouTube, Alphabet. I was basically deemed guilty until proven innocence. I did everything to prove my innocence, and they chose to condemn me as guilty as charged. Pathetic. Pathetic. Thank you, Necessary. Let's not grumble. Let's just move on, people. Another bump in the road. All right, Necessary. What kind of messages do we have from John here tonight? It's already very late for you tonight on Sunday. Let's have a look here. I didn't see you earlier in the show, Necessary, but I did do an extensive rant based around my Astrodoodle. I'm not going to go over it again right now. I don't want to waste anybody's time. But we have a lot of stressor points to do with cusps and conjunctions and stellium, even stelliums. We've got the eclipses coming up. We've got a massive Taurus stellium coming up, and that's going to also be around the eclipse time. So I just guarantee there's going to be some kind of massive global financial hiccup, meltdown, destabilization, convulsion of some kind. It's going to be global. At the epicenter is the United States dollar and the United States banking system. The second layer will be the European banking system. The third layer will be Russia, China, the Middle East, and the fourth layer will be the developing countries. Okay? So I'm just giving everybody a heads up right now. I guarantee it. So do whatever you can to protect your money, your wealth, your assets. Check with your bank. Go ask them questions. Maybe pull out a bunch of money and buy some gold or something. I don't know what to do. You got to make your own decisions, okay? All right, Necessary. Let's see what's going on. Let's just get in touch with our invisible friends. I know, Necessary, you're very well endowed. You're very, very fortunate to have Chris and John. John is here tonight. John, I just had this. Give me a second. You know how your invisible friends are very vivid. Very vivid in their expression of energy. So right now, Necessary, I feel that John is very present with me, sitting off to my left. And he's carrying the demeanor of a very high profile, like public figure, like a newscaster, like a news anchor. Someone who is highly respected, carries a lot of weight. I'm going to say as like a comparable type of weight. I'm not saying good or bad, but there's a fellow called Tucker Carlson who has a massive presence in the media as a news anchor. Okay, not traditional news like local headlines for weather, sports, car crashes, police chases, shootings, or whatever, but very large scale subject matter. Okay. All right. So it's like he's full on right now. He's got the suit, the tie, everything. All right, everything is ready to go. Here we go. All right. So what kind of messages do we have for necessary tonight? Thank you, John. Yeah. Okay. Now I've got the cards. No jumpers, no flyouts, no reversals, none of that. We're just going to go straight in. The cards are so beautiful as they are. I don't need to flip them upside down. Here we go. All right. Okay, here's the situation. Remember, we're going blind here. I have no idea what's going to show up. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. Let's have a look at the external influences. I almost always default to the planet. Tonight, I think, is exceptional. It's a kind of an extreme situation. Wow, we have the High Priestess here. Okay, I'm going to default to one of my little mantras. I'm going to do several. Give me a second, I'll be right here. Dear Necessary, whatever you need to know will come to you. Whatever you don't need to know will not be apparent. Okay? You can't afford. Spirit does not want you to be cluttered with anything that's irrelevant. Okay? In order to take advantage of the High Priestess energy here, I think it's appropriate to actually send out a message and a request, which is again one of my mantra type things. Because there's so much hidden energy of secrecy here. Please bring to me, reveal to me that which is mine. Please take away from me that which is not mine. In other words, it's almost like, remember, this is not you, okay? It's not you necessarily. This is what's out there. There's a tremendous amount of stuff out there. Like, there's the veil, okay? And behind this, the legend has it that there's all this energy behind the veil. Let's attribute that energy behind the veil to all of this, all of it in its full glory right now. And what is this going to look like coming up in the next few days, few weeks, few months? Well, the big alerts we've already put out there, May 16th, May 20th. Okay, we've got the eclipses and all of that. We've got the massive Taurus stelliums. So, for whatever aspect of your life where you might feel this pertains, how am I going to say this? You won't know what you need to know until you need to know it. There's no point in trying to force a situation. It's like you're going to have to really understand what I was talking about earlier with the song, being guided. This is a deeply, deeply spiritual card. Perhaps it even relates to the Saturn and Pisces energy, where it's almost like being tested in the art of divinity. There are universal laws, universal codes of the that apply to everyone and everything things that cannot be manipulated and defied by humanity. Things like gravity, things like the orbit of the sun, things like the passing of asteroids and comets. They are what they are, they do what they do, and it's up to us how we respond. But human beings, once they get a taste of power, it turns into lust. Lust for power, money, and control. That's not your situation here. But behind the veil, over here, if you can see it, is this tiny glimpse. Like, to me, it's like this massive Hadron Collider type energy that's back there. It's too much. Like, if the veil was lifted, it would be overwhelming. Okay? You don't need that. You only need what you need when you need what you need, and nothing more, nothing less. And that will be revealed to you on an as-needed basis. Okay? No point in trying to force things. You're already very connected with intuition, clairvoyance, mediumship, divinity. But we're almost taking it to the next level here, where it's time for you to deliberately lean into that energy yourself and remind yourself, I, Necessary Truth, am heavily, let's say, attuned to the divine. I am born, raised, living, and functioning as a medium, as a clairvoyant, and it's perfectly appropriate for me, Necessary Truth, to, let's say, invoke some of that energy for myself in my own life in order to conduct my life in what appears to be a three-dimensional journey, whereas in fact it is a multi-dimensional journey, okay? So this is kind of like a reminder. Please don't forget that there are massive energy fields and resources and information that's out there and available to you. There's no point in trying to get it all, have it all now. It's just on a need-to-know basis, okay? And it's all happening according to divine order, sacred geometry. It's perfect, okay? Okay, here's the situation itself. Wow. We've had two cards that we've had the Strength card twice tonight already, and now we've got the Ace of Pentacles tonight already. So I guess this is something to the very recent new moon, and probably a heads up to the next new moon in almost 4 weeks from now. New starts and new beginnings, and it might be something to do with basic wealth, abundance, money, and finance. So remember, when we get to the very, very end of, let me just check here on my ephemeris. When we get to the very end of, where is it? Okay, 26th of March, 26th of April. We have, how am I going to do this? Forget it. But there is an Aries moon conjunction at 29 degrees almost 30 days from now. And my feeling is that this whole reading is about a heads up for you to be prepared for that moment of sacred opportunity. Because, okay, I'm just, sorry, I got to do it this way. I can't do it otherwise, okay? So I'm actually putting a timestamp on here. Here is the Aries new moon that we just had. And we're going to have another Aries moon conjunction over here, 29 degrees, right on the cusp, okay? Heading into Taurus. Taurus is all about the money, honey. Money, money, money. Money, money, money. This is going to be the time, let's see, what is March, April, May. In here, during Taurus season, there's going to be that eclipse. It's going to be all about money. Big, big, big money, but also personal money, personal wealth, your talents, gifts, resources. So to me, this is a heads up. It's very, very important to understand that even though for some people it's going to be devastation, worldwide, there's going to be billions of people, I believe, who are going to be really hurting because of what's coming here astrologically. It's inevitable. But it doesn't have to be that way for everybody. By doing your homework, necessary truth, I'm not saying you can profit by this in terms of like profiteering, like exploitation. All I'm suggesting is that by honoring your highest self, trusting in the divine influence, the divine intervention, there is a forum of opportunity that is available to you and will be available to you as you get towards the eclipse. And it's going to be to do with money, your personal finances. So to me, it's like it's time to start prepping right now. What can you do to shore up your finances and make yourself a lot more financially sound? If it means downsizing, simplifying, close this account, open that account, pay off this, pay off that, pay off that, consolidate, buy gold, whatever it might be, to get yourself in the most optimal position possible financially. Job, career, whatever that might be. What's the challenges here? Okay, so you might be overloaded already, but you will manage. It's just that you might be scared that you won't manage. Because this is actually quite scary to get to the point where like you are going to have to be your own clairvoyant. You're going to have to be your own medium to get through this and live through this and actually benefit from this. And there you are in your day-to-day life here on Earth, like everyone else, trying to defend and protect your castle, your home, your life, your world. And you're already almost at a breaking point. But you're not breaking. You're sort of there. So just be very careful. Don't take on any more than you can handle. You've got enough. Just pace yourself very, very, very carefully over these next, I would say, 6 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks, okay? You cannot afford to let yourself down in terms of your home, because your home is your castle, okay? You cannot afford to take on any more risk, any more burdens, any more, let's say, challenges that you might feel inspired to do it because you don't want to let yourself down or let somebody else down. No. You're already at overload. You cannot overload anymore. It's a journey. You have to keep going. So anyway, let's just see how we're going to deal with this going forward. Okay, understand that it is a journey, and in your own way, it might not be so intricate or obvious in the way that everyone else was dealing with the journey from the 2 previous readings tonight, like when I was talking about the spaghetti junction. For you, it might be more of like this very spiritual, amorphous experience of going through the same journey, but instead of the analogy that I used earlier about all the interstates and the highways, in a very three-dimensional type of analogy. In your situation, it would be much more of a multi-dimensional analogy where there's you still on the journey going forward, but all the external influences could be a lot more amorphous, potentially very hard to define, very hard to understand, and there's only your intuition to guide you. A lot of things that might scare you might be literally just fear. False evidence appearing real. And so you have to go forward, but again, like in the previous reading, perhaps leaning deeply on your own intuition, okay? Look at your situations, your challenges, your burdens, and understand that there is a limit, okay? You do not cross those limits physically. Make sure you get enough sleep. Drink plenty of fresh water. Good diet. Allocating your time, your energy, your resources, your passion, your ability to conduct life in such a way that you understand that you are already fully loaded, you cannot take any more, and so you have to be very kind to yourself as you live through this. You might experience quite a lot of fear, quite a lot of, let's say, scary, intuitive messages and stuff. But again, these are things that need to be understood because it is your deepest intuition that is actually going to guide you, rather than a three-dimensional approach. You're going to have to do what you do anyway, like your three-dimensional life, like make the right phone calls, deal with the right people, diet, food, sleep. Very, very important. But in the end, it's about divine guidance, divine intervention, inviting it into your life in a very, very deliberate, active way. I am guided, I am protected. 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 Whatever I need to know will come to me when I need to know. Nothing less, nothing more. The opportunity's there. I know I'm overloaded, but you can cope and you will cope because you have to. You're going to be okay. Thank you, necessary. Okay, I'm going to leave that and move on over here. Oh, gosh. All right, so Tina went back to do some chores or something. All right, so you know how I love to rant about things that get me in trouble. I'm not going to do it tonight. I think I already overdid it. So I'm going to bid farewell, wrap it up very quickly, get out, get on with life, and I'll see you all again soon. If I can make it, I'm going to try and aim for a Wednesday meetup. You're all invited. I've got emails for probably 30, maybe 40 of you, and I hope you all get them. If you can't make it, you can't make it. And that's all I can handle right now. I'd like to do another one that allows for Europe and Southeast Asia and all of that. But again, only so much. Please rant. Ha 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 ha. Okay, thank you, Gregory. I don't think I have a lot of rants left in me. I mean, I do. I kind of ranted off my list that I made earlier. And then I realized, oh my God, I got a show tonight. Oh God. So it's probably better. Anyway, just for fun, in case none of you saw it, I made 2 little tiny videos yesterday on this awesome, epic mini day trip up into the mountains in the snow. If you didn't see them, Gregory, please have a look. Okay? Anyway, I'm signing off now. I'm sorry, Alicia, I probably could have, but I didn't. So we'll follow it up. I'm sorry, necessary, you put your money down a black hole. I can't do anything about it. Thank you all for your kindness, patience, time, generosity, loyalty over the years. We'll do this again. I'm going to